Hey YouTube, I'm Lucky, and today I wanted to make a video where I talk a little bit about my opinion on Bungie's PvP philosophy and why Destiny as a game feels so much different from a lot of other PvP games. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I've had this idea for a long time and I haven't really made a video expressing it, and I wanted to see what your thoughts and opinions are because I find the idea and the philosophy that Bungie uses for this game to be vastly different from a lot of other PvP games out there. A lot of other PvP games have, a competitive scene where they're, often trying to push towards esports and stuff, especially when it comes to PvP. But Bungie obviously is not really interested in esports. That's pretty clear. Even the private matches aren't custom matches, and there's just time and time again we've seen that Bungie really is not interested in taking Destiny towards the esports route. But there was like one MLG event during Destiny 1, but after that it completely ceased to exist. And the other key component to this is that if Bungie really wanted Destiny to be competitive, like they are the ones that made Halo. That was an extremely competitive game. If they really wanted to take this game down the competitive route, there would definitely be more attempts than just one MLG event, let's be honest. So it seems pretty obvious that they're not trying to take it down that route. And what I constantly see, and the reason why I want to make this video was I constantly see on Twitter and in YouTube comments and so on and so forth, a constant like complaining about like weapons being OP or exotics being OP. And don't get me wrong, I'm one to complain as well too. There's some shit that has been extremely OP. Let's talk about Lord of Wolves for a minute, right? That shit was nasty for a long time. But what I find funny is that it's always a continuing conversation, that it goes from one thing being so extremely OP and people are so mad and they're, they hate Bungie and they're so like fired up about it. And then it goes on to the next thing as soon as that thing gets nerfed. A good recent example is like Hardlight. Hardlight was definitely extremely strong. If you've watched my other videos, the meta report, the Hardlight was the #1 most used weapon for trials for every single weekend, except for one. It was #2. So it has millions of kills. It was insanely OP. Like it doesn't even need to be said. Hardlight was nasty. If you've played the game recently, you know how nasty Hardlight was. And it got nerfed, which was cool. But then almost immediately, it was almost eerie. Like the next day, instead of like people being like, "All right, cool," things are a little bit more balanced, it just went straight into fuck Antaeus wards, and now the new hated exotic, especially on Twitter, if you follow up with the community on Twitter, is Antaeus wards. Fuck Antaeus wards is kind of the big thing. And I don't get me wrong, I use Antaeus wards because they're so extremely strong, and if people use them against me, I'm gonna get absolutely wrecked. I try to load in with a different exotic when I start, but if people are using a bunch of cheesy shit or three peeking with swords, I'm kind of just like, all right, I'm not going to lose this match because they're going to use cheesy stuff and I refuse to. So I'll often put on Antaeus wards for that reason. But, my personal opinion on using Antaeus wards or not using Antaeus wards is different than others. So each their own. If you just refuse to use them or hate using them, that's fine. I respect that. But the core philosophy I want to get at here, and the reason why things always seem to be unbalanced, is because I think that Destiny is made, the PvP is made for the PvE players, the core community. When the game launched, it was core focused around PvE, people that play, strikes, story missions, people that like to, build their loot up and, play raids, things like that. The core community, it was built around, and the PvP is made for those players, not to alienate those players and make them feel like they have no place in the game. It's instead designed so that those core players feel like they can play PvP and might actually enjoy PvP. And so that's why I think we see a lot of imbalance is in the game, because it's not balanced according to the usual PvP community like ideologies, where if something's extremely OP, it's brought down. There's kind of balanced in a different way where they're trying to make it a little more wild and crazy space magic, so that way the core community actually kind of wants to go into the PvP. And it doesn't have to be that way. There obviously are other ways that it could be balanced, and I want to know your thoughts about this and what you think. If you think I'm way out on the left field and this totally doesn't resonate, let me know. If you think like, of course, this is obviously the way they're doing things, let me know. I'm definitely curious and definitely interested in knowing your thoughts about this. Something that I go back and forth on over and over and over again is the fact that, we are in like year 6 of this game, and, there's a projection for, several years for this game to keep going, and we still do not have a serious competitive scene, and we constantly see the same, bickering and complaints on Twitter about things being OP. Things have been so extremely OP for so long. I can just name off countless primary weapons, special ammo weapons, power weapons, so on and so forth, abilities, supers, on and on and on and on. There has always been a pretty extreme imbalance within Destiny. There's never really been a true time when the Crucible was balanced so well that everything was pretty fair. I mean, maybe even the closest thing to true balance would have been like Destiny 2 Year 1, which was absolutely terrible. Like almost everyone will agree that Destiny 2 Year 1 was not good, but it was, I guess, extremely well balanced in a lot of ways. Like it was pretty much, primary gunfights, you were rewarded for good aim and stuff like that, but overall, that is definitely not the direction that the game wanted to go or that the community wanted the game to go. And so Bungie is kind of in a weird spot there where they have a core PvP community that is growing and is sizable, but they also have their main focus, their main community, the PvE community, which is extremely sizable as well. And they have to kind of balance out these two worlds, and they want to make the PvP activities welcoming to those PvE players, so that way they will play, they will grind for loot, they will enjoy these activities as well. But honestly, in some ways, it seems like there's never going to be a true happy medium for everyone to sort of come to the middle, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's just the problem of Destiny, and that's going to be, forever the biggest and most toughest battle to fight, is how to combine the two communities and how to, see the two communities come together better. But who knows? Who knows what the future of Destiny will hold? And I know I've brought up a lot of different conversations throughout the entirety of this video, but really the core question that I want to get at is, why do you think that there is always something imbalanced about Crucible in Destiny? Why do you think there is always that one weapon, that one armor piece, that one thing that people focus on? Is it just general negativity, or is the game actually being designed to be played more casually in Crucible? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Those are my opinions on what I think Bungie's PvP philosophy is inside Destiny and Destiny 2, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.